Great, hello everyone. Hopefully you can hear me. If you're having any audio issues, feel free to close the application and restart. But we'll get started in just a few moments. All right, I haven't seen any red flags pop up in the question box, so let's go ahead and kick this off. Great, hello everyone, and welcome to another STACK webinar co-hosted by one of our amazing partners, PlanHub. My name is Deja, and I lead product marketing here at STACK, and I'll be kicking us off today. I have a couple housekeeping items before we get started. For those that would like to follow along during the presentation, we've included a PDF version of our slides under the Handouts tab. Also, a few of you were nice enough to submit questions in advance, but for everyone else, feel free to chat in your questions using the chat box, and we'll answer them towards the end of the webinar in the order that we receive them. All right, let's get started. So, bidding best practices. What are they? Why are they important? And what does software have to do with it? Best practices are methods or techniques that have been generally accepted as superior because they produce the best results. So we've outlined a few here on the slide, but it's important to understand how software can help you incorporate these in your day-to-day. So during our presentation, please pay close attention to how PlanHub and STACK can help you be selective with your bids, make every minute count, be extremely clear and detailed in your proposals, include a price breakdown with your overall price, communicate added value, acknowledge the build documents, specify clarifications and exclusions, and complete your proposal well in advance of the deadline. Best practices are not limited to these, but these are a few that softwares like PlanHub and STACK can definitely help you with. So let me introduce you to today's presenters. We have Dan from PlanHub and Troy from STACK, and I'll go ahead and let them introduce themselves.
Hi, thank you, Deja. My name is Dan Landowski. I'm the Customer Success Manager at PlanHub. I've been working here for 7 years, working both with general contractors and subcontractors, really helping you guys to grow your businesses.
Awesome, thank you, Dan. Thank you, Deja. This is Troy Newman. I'm a product manager at STACK. Been with the company for, as well, almost 7 years now. So whether if you're new to STACK, haven't seen STACK before, or you've been with us for a while, I'm really excited that you're here and thrilled to show you our platform.
Okay, so what is PlanHub? PlanHub is a cloud-based platform, plan room, and bid management application. So you're able to access it anywhere in the world, whether you're working in the office, on the job site, or working from home. It's a free way for general contractors to post and share all of their project files, communicate with multiple subcontractors all at once in real time, and also receive bid proposals. Subcontractors and suppliers are also able to register, and they're able to view invitations sent from general contractors, as well as download all of their project documents, including those involving their trade and their locations. Now, for general contractors, the reason why general contractors love using PlanHub, it is a free platform for general contractors to use. It's also a free platform for their subcontractors to use as well. So as long as you're part of the general contractor's private network or personal invitation list, subcontractors also will have access to all the general contractors' projects. With that, general contractors receive more bids for their projects. They're also able to lower the cost, their construction costs, as well as amplify their business growth. So if a general contractor is expanding, working in different areas where they're light with subcontractor relationships, it's a great way for them to grow. It's also easy for them to really track the interest of their projects with different reports that they're able to use. Now, for subcontractors and suppliers, bidding is very easy for you to do. You'll receive bid invitations from general contractors based on your relevancy, the trades you perform, the regions that you work in. In addition to that, it's a great way to really grow your business pipeline. So you'll have new opportunities to work with other general contractors as well. And you'll find it to be a very cost-effective solution for you.
All right, for STACK. So we are also in the cloud, so you can access STACK from, any computer, any operating system, also any device, whether it's a tablet or a phone. As long as you have an internet connection, you can access your projects. You can access your drawings, your takeoffs, your markups, your reports, your estimates, proposal. It's all honestly at your hand. Yeah, we offer plan spec and document management. We're going to look at that a little bit today. We'll also touch on collaboration, and we will also look at a quantity and material takeoff and look at actually generating a proposal. So a stack is a start to finish. You upload your plans, you're going to do your takeoffs, view your reports, generate an estimate, and finally, generate a proposal that you can submit to your customer, or in this case, submit back to PlanHub, which is pretty amazing.
All right, great. So now we're going to enter into the live demonstration portion. I'm going to go ahead and pass the controls over to Dan. If I can find his name. 1 second.
Okay, here we go. Okay, everybody should be able to see me now. So, okay, great. So if you're seeing my screen, if you already have a PlanHub profile, that's great. If you don't, you could register for a new profile. You'll go to the web address planhub.com/stack webinar. And here you could read a little bit more about our partnership and as well as a discount, which we'll go into more at the end of the presentation. When you do register, you'll click the button here for subcontractors. And then you'll set up your subcontractor profile. So first, you'll enter in your email address, and mine's DLANDOWSKI@planhub.com. My name, Dan Landowski. Password, then enter in your phone number, and you can always reach us at PlanHub. It's our main phone number, or my direct phone number, 561-921-8759. Agree to the terms and conditions, which you could always read right here as well, and then create your account. And when you create your account, you'll enter in, the next step is setting up your company's address information. This. Choose your city. It automatically pre-populates with the zip code. Then you'll choose your coverage area. Okay, and here you'll be able to upload your logo. Here it opens up your file manager. Upload your logo here, just click on that and open. It automatically uploads that for you. Then click next. When you do that, it takes you into, it first asks you to set up your coverage areas now. So for your coverage areas, no matter where you work, we do cover all 50 states, including the territories of Puerto Rico and Guam. I'll just select a few states here, California on the West Coast, Kansas in the middle of the country, and then I'll just go with Florida as well, since that's where our headquarters are based. Trades, you could select any amount of trades under the different categories, and then specific categories within that. So I'll just select concrete and masonry, barrier siding, flooring. So you can select as many as you perform, and then click finish. And then once you finish, it will take you into your subcontractor dashboard. Now, again, with this, you're automatically listed within the PlanHub Basic service option. Again, that is the free version of our site. You are also starting the PlanHub Premier trial, which gives your company exposure, as well as the opportunity to work with new GCs and bid more projects. So you'll see a number of hot projects that are listed on our site. These are all projects that are that we encourage you to bid on for various reasons. You'll also be able to see new projects that are also being posted on our site. Clicking at the top menu bar, when you click on your Projects tab, that will take you into your project board. This is where you'll be able to search for projects, and any project that you click on, you'll be able to see a brief description on the right-hand side with your matching trades, some basic information. You'll be able to view the project, also decide whether you're bidding or not bidding. With your bid invitations that come to you, you'll get a link that you'll be able to click on. I'm just going to put in a church project for now for us to take a look at. So with the bid invitations that you receive, you'll be able to click the link and it'll take you directly into the project overview screen. And as you can see here, if you put in the name of the project or just the partial name, you'll see that come up here, click it here, and you'll see the description, and then view project details. And with the bid invitation link, it'll take you directly into your project overview screen. Now on the screen, you'll see the menu on the left with the different sections that you can scroll through. First, you'll be able to see all of the project information, the name, the location, what day it was created, and the bid due date. You could read the description right here. Also see any new status updates. You should get an email of these status updates as well. Some basic information listed here, as well as special instructions. You will also be able to see all the trades that are needed for the project. So on the last page, you can see that your trade is needed, but you could also see the other trades you're looking for. The next section is your general contractors. And this is a best practice when using the PlanHub site, because you'll be able to see all the bidding GCs right from here. You can also communicate with those GCs using the new message button, and then also call them if need be. Below that, you'll get to your project files, where you'll be able to download all the project files. They are separated into different folders. The all folder will show you everything. This has one spec file that you can download, 6 plan files, and then 2 addendums. And then finally, this is our request for information center. So if you need additional information, have any questions, you can request information here, write your message and submit it to the GCs that way. And when you're downloading files, you could choose to download one file at a time, clicking the download button. If it's in a PDF file, it should open up automatically in your web browser where you can download it this way. And if it's in a zip file, or if you want to download these all at once, you'll just select this box to select all of them and then hit download selected. Now, the files are being zipped and will begin downloading shortly. Depending on your connection speed and how large the files are, it may take a few minutes for the download to begin. And then you should see it in your web browser here. Usually you'll find it within your file manager here. So when you click on here, you'll be able to click your downloads and see the file downloading that way. And once it is complete, Troy will then explain to you how to use those files and upload them within STACK for your takeoffs. Right?
Thank you, Dan, very much. That's better. Always better when you show the correct screen. So this is the church project that we were just looking at on Dan's screen. So like Dan mentioned, you can be selective. You know, you can choose just the file folders that you want, or you can select all. With Stack, there are no page limits. So feel free to, you know, upload the entire project into our platform. That's completely fine. What's nice is PlanHub exports this as a zip file. So when you bring that zip file into Stack, it's going to retain this folder structure, which is really nice. But if you only need a certain point, you know, like the architectures, you can download just that selected part. Once to download, we're going to take off in Stack. Oh, and it took me into my account. Hold on just a second. It will take you to, if you're new to Stack, it'll take you to this screen so that you can create a free account. And we're just going to ask you for an email password. Stack's going to send you an email so that you can validate your password. And at that point, you're off and running. So very simplistic. You can also either log in via Facebook, Google, or Microsoft login at your choice. If you've already logged in, it'll take you to the login screen, and just like it did with me, most times it's just going to remember you and take you straight into the application. So you'll start here with the list view. Now I have a number of projects already in the Stack. So if you are brand new, you know, the list, it won't be there. You'll be creating your first project, which is fine. And to do so, we're just going to create a new project. Oh, and we can join a webinar. Create a new project. We can say that this was the Lutheran Church project. We can specify a bid date. So this would be the date that the project's due to the general contractors. Specify a bid time if you want. And then also, as a best practice, this note section. So this is, consider this a project notes section where you or people on your team can update, upload it on this date. You can, the masonry was completed on this day. The electrical estimate was completed on this date. Bids submitted on this date. And this can be expanded. So you can make your note section as long as you want, but it's a nice way to track where the project status is, so that anyone can log in and see and read the project notes. Also, if you want, we do have some additional information. You can assign it to a certain member of your team. You can assign the project as a status, then you can come back and later update that status. The statuses give us our color coding over here. I mean, you can also put the physical address of the site if you want to. Again, all of this is optional. What we really want is the project name and the bid date, and we can go over here to create and launch. At this point, the system is going to start to walk you through the upload process. So I can go here, choose a local file, and I can grab that Lutheran Church right there and start to upload that into the process. So this is a two-step process. First, it's going to upload it into our platform, and then the plans are going to process through. This typically takes, depending on the file size, a couple minutes to a few minutes. It is pretty darn quick. Once they upload, they'll start to process through, and we're doing a number of things at this stage. So we're taking that individual PDF, we're splitting it out. Let me hop into one that's already processed through. We're going to split that out into individual thumbnail images. We're also OCRing all those plans to make them content searchable. And we are also adding automatic hyperlinks so that you can zoom in and find the details. So best practices, if you're dealing with a large project, again, we don't have any limits. So whether your project is, 20 pages, 200 pages, 2,000 pages, finding the plans that you want to measure is really key. So we give you some solutions to help with that. So I mentioned everything is OCR. So we can do a search for that. And we also do visuals. So we give you the thumbnails so you can quickly see, well, this looks like a site plan. We have some elevations here. We have some architecturals here. We have a roof plan down here. So we do that as a way, for you to find more quickly what you're looking for, but you can also content search. So say that I was looking for anything that had the word brick on it. So it was very fast. I'm going to say, okay, we found 22 matches on 8 different pages. To see one of those, I'm just going to click on it. It's going to open that page up. At this point, I'm just going to hold down with my mouse and use my scroll wheel to zoom in, and we can see that it has identified the word brick on those pages. What else is also really nice is it filters your overview. So whereas we had many plans here before, it is only going to show me, the 8 plans here that have to do with the brick. So if that's all I'm interested in measuring, I can stay and just work from this view. If you want to see everything back again, we can just exit search and back we go. Also, by default, everything is going to upload into the plans folder. Best practice to be organized. It's very, very easy to create new folders within Stack. Like there are some general plans down at the bottom. Create a folder and then basically just drag and drop those plans into the folder structure. So very, very easy to set up folders and organize your project. All right, so we've text search. Let's talk about hyperlinking. So if I click in, go into sheet A101, I can zoom in here and I can see that we have hyperlinked this detail. So what this is saying, as you're learning and what to measure and reviewing your project, this is saying, okay, there's something going on in this area of the plan on page A121, section A. So we're going to automatically hyperlink these plans for you to make it easy. All I do is click on the little box. It's going to bring up a little modal. Again, this operates the same way. I can zoom, I can pan by holding there, and I can see, okay, A has the enlarged restroom plan, and I can zoom in and see the detail that I need very, very quickly. What's really, really nice about this is once you get to your spot, we're going to remember your zoom level for this detail. So I can close this out. If I go back, it's going to take me right where I left off. Now, if I wanted to further review this, I could open this up in its own tab above. Now I could open this plan in another browser window. If I wanted to drag that over to, a second, third, fourth monitor, I'm just going to grab that tab and move it over just like that. So a number of ways to help you quickly identify, understand and get to measuring on your plan. So let's talk about measuring. So right now we've been focused on the plans tab up here in the upper left, just to kind of orient yourself to the screen. To measure, we're just going to go one tab over to our takeoffs. And you can see that I started one here just as an example. I started to measure this brick, and you can also see that the thumbnail here shows, the brickwork that I've measured. So you can quickly reference just via the thumbnails, okay, I've done some measuring on this plan, and we're also going to put this little compass symbol right there, again, so you can quickly find the plans that you've measured on. So I started with some brick here. Again, Stack works with any trade. So we'll get in here and do some measuring on some walls here in a minute, but it doesn't matter if you're in masonry, concrete, plumbing, electrical, landscaping, the sky's the limit with what you can measure in Stack. And what's really nice is the tools. I'll run through the drawing tools, but they all function the same. So you don't have to learn a new drawing technique based on the industry. All of our tools work the same. So let's hop in, like I mentioned, then let's measure some walls. Another best practice is the scale. And this one actually, and we randomly picked this project, but it appears to have a scale issue on the other plan, so I'm suspecting it will here also. So we give you two different ways to set the scale. You can click on your little scale box and you can calibrate, which is really, really important. So if there's a known dimension on the plan, you can use that to calibrate. Or sometimes the architect was nice and gives you a nice little scale here. So I could say, you know what? There's an 8-foot known distance. I'll click OK. I'll do one click here and one click here. Once you calibrate, you can be 100% assured that your scale is correct. Let me kind of show you the other route here. I could go with the scale that's listed, right? So the architect lists this as a 3/16. I can go to standard scales. We've got our architecturals listed above, civils down below, and I can grab that 3/16 scale. If you go this route, best practice, please verify the scale. So we have a number of markup tools, one of which is a dimension line that you can use to verify. And you can verify here or anywhere a known distance on the plan. A standard 3-foot door, this should measure. We can see, okay, telling us the door width is a little over 10 inches. We can clearly see that we have a scale issue with the plan. If we go over here, 8 feet, we can clearly see. Usually if a scale is off, it's not off by a couple inches, it's off by a significant amount. So again, highly recommend calibrating. That's just the surefire way, but if you're going to go with the standard scale, just please verify it with the dimension line. It doesn't matter how much work you do on the project. If the scale is incorrect, it's not going to help you. Luckily, you can change the scale after the fact. So if I had completed all my takeoffs and noticed, my square footage looks a little off, you could simply multi-select everything you've drawn, and change the scale. So, best practices is use software. It makes it so much easier. A lot of people still out there measuring on paper, which is great, it's functional. But software gives you so many advantages. Let the software do all the hard work for you. All right, let's talk about measuring. So with Stack, we are going to create a new takeoff for every new type of thing that we're going to measure. Okay, so hit my new takeoff. I'm going to give it a name. So say that we're going to do a painted wall. Here, in this area, it's helpful to be descriptive. Again, a best practice. I could do a painted wall. I could do down here and say, this is Sherwin-Williams, SKU number, boom. Things like this are only going to help you in the future. Whether if I just put that was a wall today, that would be great. But if I'm awarded the project, 6 months down the road and come back, I'm like, oh, I wish I would have, taken the extra few seconds to give me that information. With Stack, we're going to name our takeoff, and we're going to choose our corresponding measurement type. So in this case, it would be a surface area measurement. But if any of these, you can click on, and we will give you a text description right there of what that is. So if you're brand new to Stack, you'll find some guidance here on our measurement types right there. We're going to go with the surface area. So basically, we're going to do a linear measurement of the wall, and then the software is going to prompt us to enter in the wall height, and then the system's going to calculate that square footage. So I'll hit start. This is where it's going to ask me for the wall height, and then off we go. So I'll run you quickly how the software works. So it is one click to start, drag my mouse, one click for every corner, and I'll just work my way around this room, clicking at every turn, and double click to finish. And that's it. And it's going to very quickly give you the square footage that you measured, okay? To reactivate this measurement and keep measuring, I'm just going to click on the little green arrow and off I go. So talk about best practices here. So when you first start measuring, again, it's one click to start. You can see my line is really wavy. I'm in a free form mode. So here, if I press and release on the shift key, you can see that it forces me to draw straight lines. So it's going to force me to draw 180s, 45s, or 90-degree angles. It makes drawing much, much quicker and also looks more appealing. So there we go. You can see I was a little sloppy up there, much better. To make things even quicker, if you're working with a rectangular or a square type room, just move your mouse over to the right-hand panel and choose our rectangle tool. For this, I'm just simply going to do one click in this corner, drag diagonally, and double click in this corner. So faster, more efficient way to do your measuring. And we can see here that it's continuing to add our square footage for our walls, which is fantastic. Another best practice is set these up as templates, okay? So granted, I started to do takeoff, I typed, I chose a measurement type, that's great, but to save time in the future, what you want to do is build these once, click this little ellipse right here, and add it to your library. So what that does is create a template. So the next time you upload a new project, your project tab will be empty because you haven't started yet. You can simply go over to your library, and this is searchable. There's my painted wall, hit my little green arrow, and start to measure. So it's really, really that fast. What's really nice too is we've just looked at some measurements here, but if we go back to our elevations, for this I attached an assembly. So just one extra step, right below the description here is a little add items and assemblies. So I added an assembly for brick. It asked me a few questions about that brick wall, and that's what Stack uses to calculate the materials. So you're not only going to get your measurements very, very quickly, but you'll get your materials just as quickly. I think you'll really, really enjoy it. And as a bonus, if I were to set this up in my library as a template, it will already have that assembly attached. So start, a new project. All I'm going to do, go to my library, search for brick. There's my standard brick. Looks like I have two of them. Start off and it's going to have my assembly attached. So it's a very, very, very fast workflow. Something else I want to point out is, as you saw when we were measuring these walls, it gives us the walls in the totality. So I had measured, I think, 3 different rooms, and it's giving me that as 2,003 square feet in total. You can group your data any way that you see fit, okay? So you can group by building, you could group your data by floor, by room, by phase, by elevation, by, estimator that's doing the work. So the sky's the limit on how you want to do your data. And we do that with, label groups. So we can see I have created a label group right here. Let's pop it open. For my elevation, north, south, east, west, you can edit any of these. I can drag and drop any of these things to sort the order. And I assigned my different measurements to that label. For example, I can multi-select this and say, what, this is all in the north elevation, just like that. Or I could choose the east and then start drawing up here. So you can assign before or after. Personally, I find it easier to do after the fact, but we leave that kind of the versatility of that workflow up to you. Another best practice, creating these labels, not difficult to do, but if you have a template of it, all the better. So we have the same kind of concept here. So here is my library of my different label groups that I have. And it's just a one click. So if I wanted to add CSI to this project, there it is. I can make any changes here if I want to, and just bring that in. So it's really that quickly, okay? Then I could do the same route, go multi-select everything on the page. The only thing I've measured so far on this is the brick. So I can assign that to my masonry. And there we go. So the power here is that you have complete control of your data, and you can view it here at the takeoff template level. So I could say I want to group by CSI. It's going to show my masonry, my painted wall on the other pages was not assigned, and it's also not in masonry. Or I can group by my elevation. So here's my east, my north, my west, what I have measured so far. We do give you one default grouping, which is Plan A. So we can see these are the measurements associated with 101. Here are the measurements associated with 102. And you can also do this, group your data in the report section. Another best practice is take your time on the plan. We give you a number of different markup tools. So you'll thank your future self, say 6 months from now you're awarded. If you give yourself or a teammate some hints here. So we can go up here, we can highlight some key text here, or we could say, here is an important section of the plan that you need to pay attention to. Say if there's something going on here that's really important, you can, leave a note for yourself or for your team. We need to order with my initials, and we're good to go there. So leave a note for yourself, leave a note for your team members. You can control the color of these. So if, Troy was using, yellow highlights and Deja was using blue highlights, you can control, your color scheme up here to kind of differentiate and make a little code, for your different team members. So what you want to do is go through, do all your measurements. We can look through the reports. We're going to have 3 different measurement reports up at the top, 4 different material reports here at the bottom. So quickly, here's my painted wall, here's my description, here's my standard brick. These are the elevations that it's associated with. It's also associated with the CSI. These are going to drill down and give me a little bit more detail. I'm picking up my primary and my secondary measurement types here. Third one down is just going to show us how they roll up. So here's all of my standard brick measurements, which roll up to total to my square footage or my linear footage. Okay. This is also a great report to find things. So I'm like, what is that little 3.3 square foot section? I can just click on this little icon. It's going to zoom me to that page and highlight it. So I can quickly say, yep, that is correct. That should be there just like that. So it's a great way of finding things. So ultimately, you're going to do your measurements, save them as a template, use your label groups, save them as a template, look through your data in your reports, and then ultimately get to your estimate. So here's one that I've already started. So we can see here are my materials that STACK produced based on my measurement. These are the materials that I would need for the brick. So I didn't add an assembly to the painted wall, just for the brick to kind of keep things simple for today. And you can go through and just row by row. So I can add a waste factor here. I can assign a unit cost if I haven't already. So we can see I do have some pricing here that I've assigned to these items. So it brought that into the estimate. But I can simply add my pricing in here, or I can override it. So my mortar sack, say that's increased in price, I can override that right here for project specific pricing. And then I can also add markup at the row level or at the project level. So if I wanted to add markup here, I certainly can. I can work my way down anything that was not measured, typically like equipment. This section is very Excel-like, or you can say I needed a truck for one day and assign the cost, and you can assign a markup to that. Work your way down a little further, we're going to assign overhead, the cost of doing business. And then here is markup at the project level. So you can enter it at the row level, at the project level, or both. So we'll give you little indicators up here. Again, this is a little project for demonstration purposes, but we're determining our project cost. At the moment, here is our project selling price, and we're at 81.3% profit. So we probably need to bump that up to stay in business. So we can add another 20% right there. So this is kind of your reference area. And then last, here at the bottom, you can decide what categories you want to include tax. Some states labor is taxed, some states it is not. So I can say, we're going to do 7% on the material, we're going to do 7% on the truck. Here in Ohio, we do not tax labor, so I'll leave that as 0. So we're kind of building out. We have our reference sections over here, as a kind of a quick reference with our cost totals, pie charts to represent. Also, let me kind of stop myself for just a second so I don't forget this. If you do go out today to Stack and create a free account, which I encourage you to do, what we're looking at right now, this estimate tab, we're actually releasing this tomorrow. So perfectly okay to go create your free account today, please do. Tomorrow mid-morning or so, you'll see this estimate tab just show up in your account. This is a new part of the software that we're releasing tomorrow. So just didn't want you to get there and be like, hey, where's that estimate tab Troy was showing? Not there today. It will be released tomorrow, okay? This little box, so I purposely did not attach an assembly to that painted wall just to show you. So a little self-protection here, best practice. This isn't a little alert to say, hey, you've done a takeoff, you have measurements, but there are not items assemblies attached. So that may be okay or may not be okay. But again, we're just going to bring that to your attention. Over here under edit properties, I know I'm moving kind of fast. A real strength with Stack is that we give you unlimited training in customer service, and it's all for free. So you can go to the little question mark here, you can chat now, you can call in. We have an extensive searchable online help guide. So again, I know I'm moving a little quick, but there is lots of resources here to help you, and it's all free. Again, here's my proposal, edit properties. This is where I'm going to select my logo, and I'm going to add the company information that I'm submitting this proposal to. You can add your scope of work and your terms and conditions. As a best practice, you want to identify, what you will be doing, but it's also very good to identify what you will not be doing. So best practice there. I know this is kind of minimalist just for display purposes, but the goal here is to get all your information and then get to an actual download proposal. So we have different levels of detail, and you can choose how much or how little information you want to give to your customer. And there we go. So I've got my logo, I've got my prepared by, prepared for. I broke down by subtotals here. Again, you can choose a lump sum if you like. My scope of work, my terms, a signature line. Again, that's optional. You don't have to have a signature line. And then below that, I'm going to have some detail. Again, you have control whether if you want to include this or not. And at this point, I can print it, save it as a PDF, good to go. But this is, I moved a little quickly on that. This is where you can include. So this would be, a lump sum with a signature line. This will include subtotals. This will include the details. Completely up to you. All right, Deja, that was kind of the whirlwind tour of Stack there. So I think we can open up the floor to any questions.
All right, so I'm gonna go
Actually,
ahead.
I think we want to show everybody how to submit their bids to the GCs now.
Oh, Dan, you're saving me. Thank you, Dan.
Let me go ahead and switch the presenters. Yeah.
So what you're gonna do, you're gonna get to this. I forgot this huge important part that our friends at PlanHub do. You're gonna generate this and then I'll let Dan take it from here. Thank you, Dan.
Okay. Okay, great. Thanks, Troy. So once we have the estimate, your bid proposal completed, and you save it onto your computer, you go back into the PlanHub site. And of course, when you log in, it takes you to your dashboard. Or if you have the bid invitation email, click that link to take you directly into the project. One thing for best practice, if you don't have that email, you'll go back to your project board to look for that project. Within that email, you have the ability to communicate with the GC immediately to let him know whether you're bidding the project or if you decline to bid it. So if you're bidding the project, of course, from the project board, you're also able to do this. From that project, you can click on the bidding button. You could also click this heart to save the project. And this will save you a lot of time because then you could find this project under your saved projects folder. So it's a very quick way to access the project. It should save you a lot of time. When you go back into the project, this is how you'll submit your bid. Now, for a project like this that has many different bidding GCs on it, for another best practice, when you submit your bid, you do want to make sure you address it to all estimators. So that way, no GCs are offended knowing that you're submitting it to other GCs as well. So when you submit your bid, you'll click the button up here in the upper right for place bid. And then you could either drag and drop your proposal from your file manager, or when you click here, and it'll open up your file manager where you can select your bid proposal. It'll take any file format, whether it's a Word doc or a PDF file. Click open, and then it will upload the bid for you. From here, you'll select your bid trade. So I think we did like masonry or brick. I can't find at the moment. Oh, brick and stone right here. And we'll put in that base bid amount. I think it was 480. And then you could also type in a message for the GC. Please consider my proposal. Since it's a live project, it is for this only. Okay, and then you could also include your contact information, invite the subcontractor or invite the general contractors to view your PlanHub profiles. The more information you could provide to the GCs, the better it will help you in your bid. You'll also be able to select which GCs you'd like your bid to go to. So whether you only want to send it to a few GCs, but again, as a best practice, you really want every GC to have that bid because that'll give your bid the best opportunity to win, to be awarded. You'll then click the button for add bid, and then that will quickly submit the bid to all the general contractors that you selected. So while this bid is being selected, one thing I also failed to mention, and I apologize, when you have submitted your bid, and if you've made a mistake, again, you can upload a new bid file and click OK. That will upload the bid, and that will replace your previous bid. Then you can write in the message, please disregard previous. Also selecting your bid trade again, put in your base bid amount, and then hit add. Now, if you are bidding multiple trades for the project, you'll want to list those trades here as well. So you click this button to add multiple trades. Now you won't have to submit your bid again. You'll just put in the base, the bid trade, the base bid amount, and then continue with all the other trades you're bidding on, and then click add bid. So you'll be able to do that. Now, once your bid is submitted, you'll be able to track that bid from your My Bids tab, and this is another best practice. PlanHub gives you a very easy way to do your follow-up work with these. So here you can see all the bids that we have submitted and who we submitted those to. You can see your message here, including your bid proposal, and then you could type a message right here to do your follow-up work. In addition to that, if you click this button for View Project, it takes you right back to the project where you can also communicate with those GCs using the My Messages button, or again, you can also click within the RFI Center. Now, another best practice that I'd like to discuss, again, I mentioned that communication is the key to really help you in building that relationship with the GC and really help to get your bids awarded. So what you also want to do is make sure that your company profile is as detailed as possible. So if you go to your Settings tab, it'll take you to your account settings page. You'll scroll down or click down to your company information. Here, you want to make sure to input your company description. If you have a website, you could put that information here too. And if you want to be even more detailed, you can select the type of projects that you prefer to work. So you can select the construction sector, whether you just like to work commercial projects, or the building use, if you only like to do clubhouses and casinos, or if you have project type, like if you only like to do tenant build out. So once you update that information and click Save Changes, that'll save that information for the GCs to view. We also provide a personal docs section. Right here, you'll be able to upload any additional information such as testimonials or project portfolio, anything of that nature. And finally, we do provide a team member section. So if I happen to be sick, I want to make sure that my coworkers, my other estimators or support staff also have access to this information. I will invite them as a team member, put in their email address. They'll be able to create their own login credentials and then still be part of your company's profile. So again, just to reiterate, once you submit your bid, you could track it under the My Bids tab. Make sure that you're communicating with the GCs to really build that relationship, and then always come back to view the project to see if there's any new status updates on it as well. Deja, I'll turn it back over to you.
All right, thank you for that, guys. So we're gonna quickly try to go through as many questions as we can, and don't worry if we don't get to yours. I'll make sure we follow up after the webinar with everyone. Okay, let me go ahead and, okay. So for our first question, it's from Samuel. What is the best way to know if the GCs are really open to switching suppliers rather than just collecting new bids because they have to? And that's for either one of you guys to answer. Okay,
I'll take that one. So the best way is really to really build that relationship with the general contractor. When you include with your bid, again, you want to put as much information, not only with your bid, be as detailed as possible with it, but you want to put your company information as well. So if you have a project portfolio, if you can provide references, that's all going to help you in winning the project. Again, sometimes it may take a few projects for you to get your foot into the door with a GC, but communication is key, so you just want to keep building that relationship.
All right, great. Next I have Talisa Clark. Is the software only usable for bids proposals that are available through PlanHub? For example, if I'm submitting government bids projects, can I generate my submission packets in the software and submit to the government entity? And I'm guessing that that is for STACK. So Troy.
Yeah, it's Lisa. So thank you for the question. No, yeah, you can absolutely upload any bid documents that you want. So our PlanHub, they are awesome people. I highly encourage you to go through them. But if you do receive a plan set, from either an email attachment or a plan room, you can certainly upload that into STACK and do everything that we just looked at today. From your plan management to doing your measurements, to your markups, to viewing your reports, to creating your estimates, your PDF proposal, and you would just email that to the general contractor. So thank you for that question.
And just to add on that, for some of these government projects, if you're working as a prime contractor, absolutely, we do have some government entities that even post their projects onto PlanHub. But to increase your chances of winning, you should consider working with general contractors, submitting your bids to them as well. That's what I have to say.
Great. Thanks, Dan and Troy. Okay, next we have Mark. This is for PlanHub. He has some feedback, and I guess you can offer a best practice or workaround if you have one. He said he's noticed that a number of the GCs are not seeing their bids, even though we have submitted them. He thinks it's because the person set up the job is getting the info and not the actual estimator. Is there a way to communicate with everyone that's listed on the GC list without having to copy and paste? Sort of like a message all button?
Yeah, when you're submitting your bid, yeah, you can communicate with each general contractor that way. But most general contractors prefer the bids to be submitted either to the estimator directly or to their bid coordinator. And sometimes they have a general email box so all estimators can retrieve those bids. So whether it's bids at email address or an estimating at email address. So you could always communicate with the general contractors through that email. Sometimes within the status updates or the special instructions, an estimator might include their direct email address. You can communicate with them that way. The Premier service does provide that information as well. In addition to that, feel free to give them a call. So you can call them and try to communicate with them that way as well. And also remember, when you do post within the RFI section, all general contractors are able to see that. So that is a best practice. When you post within the RFI center, it's a quick way for all general contractors to answer.
Okay. Thank you, Dan. I'm going to combine Kelly and Gustavo's question. Kelly asks, will STACK calculate linear feet for railings and stair locations? And Gustavo asked a similar question, what measurement type is suggested for drywall installation?
All right, excellent questions for both of you. So with a stairwell, I'm thinking that is running, probably up a hallway. So as long as you know the rise and run of that, you can do that as a pitched linear. So you would measure it, as a linear measurement, but you would enter in the slope, or the rise and the run, and then STACK is going to calculate the additional, linear footage based on that slope. For Gustavo, you have a couple different options for measuring drywall. You could do the surface area like I showed today for the painted wall. Our assembly for drywall, if you're going to go through STACK, is based on a linear measurement. So you would actually choose linear, you would draw your walls as a linear measurement. And then when you add that assembly, the assembly is going to ask you for the wall height of side 1 or side 2 if it's a two-sided wall.
Okay, great. Next, we have a question from Rosalie for PlanHub. Can you edit service areas after your account is set up?
Absolutely. So yeah, if for any reason you need to change your service areas or even change your trades. So if you partner up with somebody or if your business is really booming and expanding, you can always go to your settings tab in that company section and update that information. So again, if you remember in the settings, you'll be able to change your trades, your coverage regions there. Make sure to click the save changes. And again, anytime that you do that, that will ensure that you get relevant bid invitations based on those settings.
Perfect, thank you. And now I'm just going to do one more question for both of you guys. What is the connection from PlanHub to STACK?
Great question. So right now, it's the connection is the login screen. So you would download your PDFs to your local machine, and then just hit that little green takeoff and stack. That will take you directly into our software. So I don't know if you noticed, the first time I clicked that button, the browser remembered my login information, so it took me directly into the software. So it's really nice. You click takeoff and stack, boom, it'll open up to your project list, hit upload project, and off you go.
And as well with PlanHub, with our partnership with STACK, we are the pre-construction solution for every contractor to use. One of the great things about the PlanHub software and application is when you do log in, our site automatically saves an authorization token into your web browser. So that means every time you come back to PlanHub, it will automatically log you in.
All right, thanks guys. I know there are a ton more questions, which I promise I will get to all of you after this webinar, but since we're out of time, I want to thank everyone for joining us and bearing with us, and we have a special treat for all of you that stayed on, so I'll let Dan go ahead and explain.
Okay, thank you, Deja. So as a thank you, and we really appreciate everybody joining us today, PlanHub is offering a webinar promotion code. So again, when you begin your PlanHub profile, register at planhub.com/stack webinar. You are able to get the Premier free trial, and you could also activate your PlanHub Premier service for a special 15% off promotion. That'll be for your first annual PlanHub Premier plan. Make sure to use that before June 30th. In addition to that, you will have to contact the PlanHub sales team, and please make sure you do that before the trial expires. And the promotion code that you'll use when you speak to one of our sales associates is STACK webinar. There are special conditions that do apply to that, but you'll be able to review those on the webpage, planhub.com/stack webinar.
Great, thank you. Troy, do you have any parting words?
No, it's been a pleasure. I'm very appreciative of everyone that attended today. They were very thoughtful questions. For thanking you that made it to the questions, and like they just said, we'll get back to you for anyone that we didn't make it to. So thanks for PlanHub for hanging out with us. They are an awesome